It's September 18th, and that means Happy National Ceiling Fan Day. If you don't know what that is, basically, every September 18th, we turn off our air conditioners, open up our windows, and use ceiling fans to their full potential to demonstrate how effective at cooling a home they really are. Since it's National Ceiling Fan Day, and it's actually the first National Ceiling Fan Day I've had living in this house, I figured I would take this opportunity to go ahead and give you a tour of the current ceiling fans installed in it. Some of them are subject to change as always, but for the most part what you see is what we have. So we'll start on the main floor here, and the only fan that is on the main floor is in the family room. This is a Hampton Bay Gazebo 2 that I purchased in February and installed in February. I put this in here because the Hunter that was in here was a piece of crap and it didn't work. It actually broke. And I wanted a vintage fan for in here. However, my parents, especially my mother's wants for a fan are very, very particular, and it would have been too much of a hassle to try and find a vintage fan that she liked. So I figured I would just pick the best looking and most reliable sounding modern one I could get, and this one seemed like it was it. I also do kind of like the design. It is an outdoor rated fan, although obviously we have it installed indoors. It's got plastic blades, the vents, there's no vents on the top, there's a bottom canopy that is supposed to have a rubber grommet to seal it. However, I took it out when installing it because it was too difficult to install. And it's obviously white. They had other finishes, but white was the only thing my mother wanted. We run this on low almost 24/7 and it works perfectly. You can see I have it mounted with the stock canopy, or the stock down rod that it came with. You can also flush mount it, but that wouldn't be too efficient here. And it's mounted on this wall control that also has an individual light. I didn't want a fan with a light for in here, however I couldn't find one that didn't have a light, and my mother also requested, or rather said it has to have a light, which it's come in handy a few times, I guess. And then of course we have a 3-speed control for the fan. Just took it up to high. It does wobble a little bit, but it's secure. It's mounted to a fan-rated box, and it does have a little bit of a ting 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 noise when it wobbles, which you'll hear in a moment. There it is, that noise is the pull chains moving. It's not super loud, but you can hear it. That noise, I've determined, is just because I don't have the bottom canopy. My camera's having a hard time focusing on it. Because the bottom canopy grommet, the rubber grommet that's supposed to keep it watertight, is not in there. It's just rattling against the bottom of the motor housing as it wobbles. So that's not a huge problem. Plus, we basically never use it on high. So we'll take it back down to low. All in all, it's a great fan, and I would highly, highly recommend it. It was over $100 when we bought it, but that's because we bought the extended protection plan after taxes, and then we had it shipped to our house. But I would say it's easily worth the money. It's a great, great fan. I really have no negatives about it whatsoever. And I have also thought about possibly if another fan in this house needs replacing at some point in a pinch, and it's, say, like the master bedroom where my parents are picky, I've seriously thought about just getting another one of these. They're that great. So that is the Gazebo 2 in the family room. Let's head upstairs now. Okay, we'll go ahead and head upstairs. There's an interesting view, eye level with the gazebo, which, if you're wondering, the first floor of this house has 10-foot ceilings, I believe they are. I think they're 10. They might be 9, but I'm pretty sure that we measured they're 10. Anyways, they're higher than average. So you can get a good eye view of that, and it is above average height mounted. For reference, there's the couch, but it still blows plenty there. And there's our new-tone doorbell. Anyways, heading upstairs. First off, in the office, over here, we have this 44-inch Corum, I believe Venture is the model, in brushed nickel. Yes, this fan, when we moved in, was installed in the family room where the gazebo is, and there was a Hunter 5-minute fan in here. However, about a month after we moved in, I convinced my parents that this fan is simply too small for that room, and that the Hunter was, well, it was alright. This is a small room. It fit. It just looked odd, and I convinced them to switch it. The Hunter eventually broke, and that's why it was replaced with the gazebo, which I was planning to do anyway, because I did not like the Hunter at all. But this fan has been up here almost since we moved in. And my mom absolutely loves it. And I'll be honest, I kind of do too. You wouldn't look at it expecting much. However, you turn it on high. This is 44-inch, keep in mind. This thing almost blows more air than the gazebo does. It's crazy. This fan is easily on par with one of the Casablanca Venturas. In fact, it might actually beat out one of the Venturas. I've been kind of thinking about replacing this with an actual vintage fan, even though this is from 2003, so it's older. But my mom likes it. I kind of do too. I like the stepped canopy. That's cool. And every time I turn it on high, my thoughts about replacing it just disappear. And the globe is tilted a little. It was like that when we bought the house, when it was installed in the family room. The original video of this where I was silent, that was when it was in the family room. Yeah, this is a great fan, and I'll turn it off for a minute and show you. It also has crescent brackets, which are one of my biggest childhood fans, or fans, plural I should say. It was an interesting install. They had crescent brackets, so that reminds me of being a kid, and you really don't see them much anymore. So that's the Corum Venture. Coming into the master bedroom, it's kind of dark in here, but we have this Casablanca Delta 2 from 1987. It's white, well, sort of an off-white, brass and cane. Interesting fact, this is the only fan in the whole house that since we moved in has not been moved or uninstalled. I did take it down in January or so to put a recall clip in, since this was affected by the recall. But this is the only fan that is still in the house where it was installed when we moved in. The Corum was technically here, however, it was not installed in that location. So this is the only one that has been untouched. And when I put the hang true clip in, I also turned it around so that the Casablanca tag would be on this side. Both of the pull chains are ripped out because it's controlled by this wall control, which is very odd because there's another wall control right there, yet the speed control is on this wall. It's very odd. There's the light. That Corum is on par with this, easily. Now this a little more. And yeah, it wobbles a little because one of the blades is bent. What a great fan. Wobbles less with the hang true clip in now. Casablancas are such great fans. They're kind of like the BMW of the ceiling fan world, as I heard one commenter say. Expensive to buy, relatively expensive to maintain, but when they're, you know, working and installed, the craftsmanship, care and air quality, you know, performance, they're just simply unmatched. And that's kind of how a BMW is too. So it's a fair analogy. So that's that one. It'd be cool to add a fan over here, but I doubt it. I doubt that'll ever happen. Going into my bedroom, we have this early 2000s Hunter. It's actually a Passport, I believe. I don't know why I did that. This has been in here for a while for two reasons. One is because it's mounted kind of unsafe. It's not unsafe. Basically, it's mounted using the studs in the box, or the ears instead of the studs. However, with the Hunter's design mounting bracket, it's got two in the ears and one in the studs because the other stud in there has stripped. I put it up with the intention of fixing that. However, I don't run it on high ever, and it is pretty safe regardless of what any, you know, old keyboard warrior wants to say. It is safe. It's just not technically to code. But even when you turn it on high, granted it wobbles, but one of the blades is bent way down, which I don't even know how that, or up. The actual blade is bent. And it does wobble. Pushes some good air. I don't use it on high regardless. When I got it for free, it had a switch cap on it, and then I put the light kit on it. I don't know where it was from, but I know it was free. It's a great fan. I've been wanting to put something else here, but I don't want to have to deal with the box headache. And it's not that bad. I don't know when it's from. I think it's from the 2000s. It's a Hunter. Last fan upstairs is in my office. This is just a cheapo Hampton Bay Glendale. It's been slightly customized. I might put some stickers on it like I did with the old fan. This fan is really kind of low quality, but it's just here because I don't have anything else I want to put here. Oh, and if you're wondering about the Sears that was in here, because I know I filmed a video with the Sears in here, basically I decided it was time for a change. I was getting very tired of seeing that fan every time I walked in here. And I wanted something flush mounted. That was the other thing. But yeah, this is the fan in the office. It's really kind of low quality, but it works for what it is. So now we will head downstairs to the basement where my workshop is. Alright, heading down to the basement workshop. You'll have to pardon the mess. It's a little messy. Ever since the flood, stuff has been all messed up. So you can see here, I got some boxes. They were all back here before the flood, which I guess the flood sort of forced me to clean up. There's the bar and the gyro air and the Fanimation thing. The Venturas from Habitat that I got way back in the beginning of summer, I haven't even touched yet. Hunter boxes, I don't think there's anything in either of these. This one has something in it, I think it's a light. Box fans up here. My little supply thingy with all kinds of extra stuff should I need it. My toolbox, that water vac, some box fans. This is from my grandfather. It needs to be restored. This lamp that I brought down here. There's the Sears. This view fan, which, pardon my language, but these are about the shittiest quote-unquote industrials you could ever buy. And if you get the opportunity to buy one, I highly recommend against it. There is no value in this fan whatsoever. It's actually the first industrial I ever bought. However, it's not even really an industrial. It's a piece of imported crap. You know, straight blade. I bought it for $7. Blades are super flimsy. It's not a good fan. Not at all. It's 36-inch. And of course, what happened was I took the canopy out, or I took the down rod out, and then it was physically impossible to get back in and get all of the wires to get out of the way to put the set screw in, and I ended up severing the neutral wire, which I soldered back in place very difficultly, and it runs. However, I don't know if I would trust it to be installed, let alone try and fit the pin through that, back through that damn thing. So that's the rant on that. There's a light, more fans. I took all the stuff that was here and cleaned it up. Victorian that has a short in the switch housing. I had to rob the down rod off of this Emperor for a project you'll see in a moment. New in box Georgian 2, box for a Georgian 2, Heritage Alliance new in box back there. Bunch of blades, and no, they're not getting scratched. Some fans that I put away, my work fans, Lakewood, glass on this shelf, and some miscellaneous stuff. This extension cord, you'll see what it's for in a moment. My mother picked this thing up for me for free. It's a turn of the century Athens. It's one of those Beckwith copies, which I've never had one of these. I don't know how to assemble one. It was free. Essentially, the lady said we put it up and took it down because we weren't satisfied with the airflow. I think she was stupid for trying to give it away for free. She got like 15 people asking if they could have it, which I asked first. The only problem with it is that it's been all torn up because they have a dog, and it's the same dog that ran up to me and tried to attack, well, not attack, it was a little ass thing, but basically tried to chew on my leg a little bit. So this is all messed up. This side is bad. The box is pretty much unsalvageable, and so if I do try to sell this, I probably won't include the box, just because J&P spinner, which I'm having some problems trying to get the neutral wire back, finding which wire was the correct one because there's no white. Here's where the Emperor down rod went. This is the first real industrial I have, and it's actually the only one, too. This is a silver line from, I think, 2004. I think it's a silver line, at least, Envirofan. Basically, the down rod that came with it, here's the blades, by the way. I cleaned them. This was the main selling point. I really wanted the easy mount thing, which basically allows you to install a J-hook fan with a mounting box, which is basically impossible otherwise. I'd like to get more of those made. I don't know if I can custom weld them or whatever. Extra wire came with it. Only thing that didn't come with it was a control. This was the original down rod, however, it's too long. I wanted to be able to install this in like a 7-foot or 8-foot, 9-foot ceiling, and so this was too long. Bought this down rod off eBay because I measured it and thought it would be the right one, but I mismeasured, so I just have this now. And then I just robbed the Emperor down rod, and even though it's antique brass, it's alright because everything else matches. And it does work too. There's the grommet. Everything fits, it's all good. I do like this fan, and I would love to get it installed somewhere. That's really it, except for what I'm about to show you. And yes, I did break my only floral globe, unfortunately. It was a couple months ago in my basement computer, the Dell. So that box actually goes to, well, this fan. So I rigged this up. Actually, the story was that J-hook there, originally, I actually hung the view fan up there, and I'll have some video footage I'll insert or lay over the video here. And it was gonna be cool. And I had it up there for a couple days, and then of course I decided that if it ain't broke, don't fix it is bullshit, so I took it down and of course started messing with it, and I broke it to the point where it's almost beyond repair. Needless to say, a couple days later I was on Facebook, saw this fan, quote unquote, new in box for $6. Of course I had to grab it. It's a couple half-hour drive. Not new in box, but it's very, very, very good shape in box. And I love these fans. Love them, love them, love them. And only a 36-inch fan will fit here, so I had to put that in. And then of course I just left the hook from the view fan. It's just run off a swag kit that comes down and into the extension cord, and it's hooked up. You do have to move the light string out of the way, and yes, it does make the light flicker. There's really no way to fix that. I mean, it's physically impossible to fix that. This thing moves about as much air as the view fan did. It's a little less, but it's almost on par, which shows you how crappy those were. No wobble. The bearings are quiet in it, which is nice. Obviously the furnace is on, so it's hard to hear. This is a classier fan for the space too. The white fan sort of stuck out like a sore thumb. This more blends in. And since it's in an area that doesn't get heavy use, in fact, I installed this sort of as a joke. Naturally, of course, I go to use it. I haven't used it probably since I installed it like a month ago. So, kind of a waste, but it is cool nonetheless to say I have a fan in the furnace room. I don't ever use it though. There's really no practical reason to use it. It was just sort of a throw it up and see what happens. The light, you have to tuck the string up to use, so it's a little bit of a pain. The bearings are real good on it. I was thinking, theoretically, I could probably install the silver line, but I have a feeling it's too close to that wall off that J-hook, and it would probably hit it. So that's probably out of the question. But this is what's here for now, and I doubt it's going to change for a while, because it's cool. So yeah, happy National Ceiling Fan Day. Use your ceiling fans, and I hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and click like if you like what you see, and follow me on the web, wix.com/theelevatorworld/fans. Bye-bye.